What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to another match preview as we go into our penultimate game of the Premier League season. It is Chelsea versus Manchester United at Stamford Bridge, a rare Friday night outing for the Red Devils. Of course, both teams that are going to be contesting next week's Europa League final, that being Spurs and Manchester United, played tomorrow ahead of getting, I guess, as much rest as possible. It's got to make sure it's fair. So we're going to be facing off against Spurs at 8:15. It's an 8:15 kickoff. I'll be live on the match for you, as always, 2 hours before at 6:15. And I spoke about this a little bit on the morning show today, that I'm going to try and do my very best here. I'm going to try and do my very best to not fall into the trap that seemingly we fall into every single match preview at this point. Every single match preview, we fall into this trap. Every single match, we fall into this trap where we go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Forget about it. Don't worry about these Premier League games. There's no consequence to them anyway. The players don't care. Why should we care? It's all hands on deck for Europa. That's what's important, yeah? It's Bilbao or bust for Manchester United. So who cares? Who cares about these Premier League games? Just play the kids. It doesn't matter. I said the same thing for the West Ham game heading into Sunday, right? Who cares? Guys, who cares? And then we watched the match and 2-0 loss. Played a relatively strong team, a couple of people. Yeah, there was rotation, but pretty strong team. A lot of those players will probably start the Europa League final. And it hurt. It hurts, because you see the performance, you see the results. So you kind of have to go two ways, don't you? You either have to go, it doesn't matter. And when the inevitable bad result comes, there's no outrage because it doesn't matter. Or every game matters. And because every game matters, if the result and the performance isn't there, I'm going to be pissed off. You kind of have to choose a lane and kind of stick in it. And I'm going to try my best to stick into it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get outraged, but then you just got to see it. You've got to see it. In terms of rotation, I suppose there is a difference from the West Ham one in that the proximity to the Europa League final is much smaller, isn't it? Of course, we're playing next Wednesday. It's less than a week's time. When this video is going out this evening at 7 p.m., at this time, we will have comfortably known for close to 24 hours if we're in the Champions League next season or not. Yeah? By the time the game comes around on Friday, that's 5 days. 5 days until the Europa League final. With that being said, certain players you think will be rested and will be rotated and risks will not be taken. Ruben has got some criticism for some of the risks he has taken by playing players like Lenny Oro at the weekend. Came down with an injury. People are now worried, is he going to be available for the game next week against Spurs? The game before that, Matthijs de Ligt obviously was coming back from an injury, so Ruben Amorim wanted to have minutes, and he broke down, limped off, and we haven't seen him since, and it's going to be touch and go whether or not he's even going to be available for the Europa League final. So with that being said, you think certain players he won't take a risk on. I would think it's probably Bayindir again in goal. Not that Onana would get hurt, and if something happens to either or, I don't think it really matters. But I think Bayindir probably in goal. In terms of the back three, I think you look at probably Fredrickson to start. He won the reserve team player of the year today, so credit to him. According to the Manchester Evening News, Aidan Heaven is going to be back in the Manchester United squad to face Chelsea. Now, whether or not he's going to start, because Ruben might be like, look, needs minutes. He could be involved in the final. We've got to get a minute starts, plays 45 minutes, or maybe that's too much. Maybe it's a case of he comes on for 30 minutes or so. We'll have to wait and see. But defensively, that's something to consider. Maybe because, and again, this is where the difficulty comes in, because you could see you have to kind of think ahead to the final of what back three could start and then go backwards from that. So for the final, you would hope you're probably looking at Lenny Oro, maybe Maguire. And again, it might be like a Mazraoui. I mean, that's difficult. So for tomorrow's game, I could see maybe Luke Shaw starts again. He's been starting these sort of rotated games recently. So, Fredrickson, Shaw. Mazraoui started the weekend, and I was surprised by that. I was, because he's played a lot of football recently. So maybe it's not him. Does he go with Maguire? I mean, it's different. Lindelof maybe puts Lindelof in there. Options are a bit short there. I wouldn't want to play Mazraoui. I think wing backs, that's when you go into a mess. Maybe Dorgu. I mean, look, or maybe it just goes into the reserves. It's totally reserves players. I don't know. Midfield. Maybe you could see Eriksen playing. Maybe Cobby. Because, again, I don't know if it's a certainty that Cobby's going to start the Europa League final. So maybe Cobby in midfield. In the 10s, maybe. Because I think for the Europa League final, I think it's going to be Garnacho and I think it's going to be Bruno in the 10s. Because I think the two midfielders are going to be Casemiro and Ugarte. So maybe you do see, Mason Mount in the 10. Who else could be in the 10 with him? I mean, I don't think Toby Collier's back. Is he yet? I'm not sure. I mean, if we're looking at, the team that played against West Ham at the weekend and really looking at the bench, because again, it was stronger than I anticipated. I mean, I think Cheeto starts at front. As I said, Fredrickson at the back. I think Eriksen gets a start. I mean, that game against Brentford, that was really more of an indicator as to the lineup he might go with. And he went with Mainu Ugarte that day. It's difficult because I wouldn't play Ahmad as well because I think he should just be wrapped up. That's tough. Cheeto definitely up front. I think Mount in the 10. There might be a bit of a surprise with the other 10, perhaps, that we go, oh, that's a bit of a risk. Or maybe he just goes really, really, with youth players that we haven't really considered. I mean, for the games in the Europa League, you had Montato, Camerson involved in the squad. Maybe they play, perhaps. Maybe they could play. When it comes to sort of right wing back, perhaps he could play Montato as a right wing back. Maybe. I mean, Camerson, I think he plays primarily as a right back, if I'm correct. So. Yeah, look, it might be something Ruben Amorim does think, or maybe he plays a left wing back or something just to protect even Dorgu, not even having a go. Perhaps that's where it goes. So I'm expecting heavy rotation. Whether or not we get that, Ruben has surprised me a little bit with how much he hasn't rotated in some of these games. But I think this game will be different. I think that's what will happen. So there you go, guys. In terms of prediction. Look, Chelsea have got it to actually play for when it comes to, obviously, the Premier League. They're still trying to get into those Champions League positions. Obviously, with what has been happening to them recently, their form's dropped off a little bit. I mean, they lost, obviously, at the weekend, didn't they? They're currently in 5th, level on points with Aston Villa, superior goal difference. But going into those final days, Forest, Villa, Chelsea, all looking for either 4th or 5th. So they need a win. So they'll go strong. They'll go with a strong team. And given that we rotate, probably not expecting a win. But I guess, look, you never know, right? You never know. They're coming off the back of a loss against Newcastle. Who knows? In terms of who we know definitely won't be playing, Nicholas Jackson, of course, was sent off against Newcastle, so he won't be available. But again, it's all eyes on Bilbao, isn't it? It's all eyes on Bilbao. It's all eyes on the Europa League on Wednesday against Spurs. So I'm not predicting a win, but I'm not going to get outraged. I promise you guys. Maybe. We'll wait and see. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We'll be back in the morning for another edition of the 9 a.m. show. In addition to that, of course, it's match day. So we'll have full match day coverage. Flex is back. He'll have his road trip. We'll have a match view too, plus obviously fan views, player ratings. You know how it is on match day here at United View. So be sure to subscribe and you won't miss a single thing. I'm out of here. Have a good one. Peace.